Joe Lieberman, the warmonger. He's on with Pat Buchanan. You're going to be shocked to find out that he thinks attacking Iran's a good idea. Let's hear him out.
Do you believe that the United States should conduct airstrikes on the Iranian Quds Force in Iran if they do not stop this? And do you expect President Bush to do something like that? Because almost everyone in the administration at a high level, including Gates and others, are saying this hasn't stopped, it's going on.
Well, Pat, I hope we don't have to get to the point of moving in any way into Iran to strike at the base of the people who are responsible for killing Americans. But I hope that the Quds Force and the Iranian government has in mind that that is a distinct possibility, because let's be direct about this, and that's why I asked General Petraeus the question. The Iranians have been training and equipping Iraqi extremists who have gone back into Iraq and are responsible for the killing of hundreds of American soldiers. I mean, this is an outrageous act. It's a kind of proxy war against us. These people have American blood on their hands and plenty of Iraqi blood as well. And I want them to understand that if they don't stop this, they run the risk of having us strike the lines that they're using, the bases, the depots that they have.
See, at that point, Buchanan says, but Senator, we got a part two, and I'm looking forward to Buchanan saying, hey, wait a minute, you say they're killing American troops, but, you know, couldn't you argue that the Saudis, through their funding of the Sunni insurgency, killed hundreds, thousands of American troops, but you're not talking about bombing Saudi Arabia. Couldn't you argue that Sunni and Shiite insurgents have crossed borders in Syria, but you're not talking about bombing Syria? You know, couldn't you say that there are dozens of countries responsible for getting our troops killed in Iraq, including, for example, Libya, which sends more al-Qaeda and Iraq fighters to Iraq than any other country? But yet, now that we've struck a deal with Libya, we're not talking about bombing them, even though they continue to send so many fighters to kill American troops in Iraq. As Joe Lieberman said, I mean, he pressed it. He said, they're killing them, right? He doesn't ask that, and he could have asked him about it. You're changing rationale. But Senator Lieberman, weren't you trying to start a war with Iran about their nuclear program a couple of months ago on the same station and on Fox News and everywhere you ever went? And now you seem to have changed rationale on why you so desperately want to start a war with Iran. He doesn't ask him any of that. God, our media. Sometimes they do a good job. Sometimes they write the right stories. Obviously, the LA Times is writing the right story here. But overall, they suck. They suck. They let people like Senator Lieberman and John Bolton and all these guys in the Bush administration go out there and make these claims that we're getting hit by Iran when there is not one shred of evidence. In fact, I'm shocked at how little evidence they have. I would imagine that some weapons used inside Iraq would come from a neighboring country like Iran. I'm shocked that they haven't got a single piece of evidence. They don't have a single weapon made in Iran. And instead of hearing that, we hear absolute, utter propaganda. And by the way, Joe Lieberman, all those commanders who gave those press conferences without any evidence, and the Bush administration, they're all goddamn liars, okay? They're trying to start a war with Iran, and you got to call them for what they are. They're goddamn liars. They knew they had no evidence, just like they knew they had no evidence in Iraq, and they went out there and said, oh, yeah, the weapons are made by Iran. Flat out lying. Flat out lying. And the media idiots on TV are like, okay, they're made in Iran. When do we attack? When do we send the ships? Not one of them, Wolf, incompetent loser, blitzer, has never once asked on CNN, hey, Senator Lieberman, do you know that they're actually made in Iran? What freaking evidence do you have? Bunch of idiots they hire on TV. They sit there and go, okay, whatever you say, I'll take your talking point and, you know, and just give it to the American people without challenging it, because I don't have two freaking brain cells in my head that I can rub together to come up with an independent thought. If Wolf Blitzer was a real man, okay, if he was a real journalist, okay, if he had any balls at all, what he would say is, hey, Senator Lieberman, why don't you go back and get some evidence before you come back on my show and tell me about stuff that you claim you can't reveal with to anybody. This is the same exact lies you told me about about Iraq. Weren't they, Senator Lieberman? Didn't you come out here and tell me about how Iraq had all these dangerous weapons of mass destruction? And it turned out you were 100% wrong? Why on God's green earth would I let you say that on my show again when you're a proven liar? So, Senator Lieberman, go take your bullshit, wrap it up, and put it back up your ass, and come on here correct next time. Okay? Blitzer. Okay, any of these guys. Instead, they just let them run roughshod with all their bullshit.